So, Jamaica has placed a temporary ban on the Boeing 737-8 and 737-9 MAX aircrafts until further notice. This comes after, of course, the Ethiopian Airlines crash that killed all 157 passengers and crew on March 10, and then before that, a Lion Air crash that killed everyone on board as well. The Director General of the Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority, Nari Williams-Singh, is here and telling us what this means for us as local travellers. Good morning to you. Thank you for being here.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
First of all, your reaction to the ban of the aircraft. Think it was necessary, timely?
I think it was. As aviation professionals, anytime there's an aircraft accident, we get very interested because we want to find out, what are the probable causes, contributing factors, so we can prevent something like that from happening again. So from the Lion Air accident, our interests were certainly piqued. And then with the accident, the Ethiopian Air accident further piqued. And as more information came out that there were similarities between the two, definitely it was heightened. So we have been in constant dialogue with our counterparts, civil aviation authorities, to get their take on it. We're not involved in the accident investigation, so the information that we have access to is what's in the public domain and what we can get from our counterpart CAA. So we were following it very closely. And as it progressed, we saw more and more civil aviation authorities putting in these flight restrictions of the 737 MAX series. We were very much in dialogue with the Federal Aviation Administration as well, as the United States is the state of design and manufacture of the aircraft.
Why would it have taken two, Nara, you think? Because after the Lion Air went down, there were some theories. There were at least, they say, 5 other complaints from other pilots about this aircraft and what was happening with the nose and whatever the software glitches and issues were. Why would it have taken so long and for another jet to have gone down for us to have had a decision?
Yes, I mean, I can't speak to why that would have taken, that time. I do know, however, that after the Lion Air accident, there was an emergency airworthiness directive that was issued by the FAA to all operators of the aircraft to address certain things that came out of the preliminary report of the Lion Air accident.
Interesting.
It is very unfortunate that a second airplane, I mean, any accident or serious incident with an aircraft where persons are injured or killed, it's not something that we want to see.
What was the report you said that went out? An emergency?
Emergency airworthiness directive.
And that says what?
So it came out after the Lion Air accident, and it instructed the operators to look at certain maneuvers in how to recover if the airplane goes into a particular attitude on takeoff.
Well, so what does that mean for Jamaica? Because when we say we're banning them from Jamaica, how many were we thinking of?
Right. So in total, there are about 350 737 MAX series globally. In our airspace, our movements, there hasn't been that many. For the month of February, we had just about 9,900 overflights. That's airplanes traversing our airspace. And less than 2%, 116 of that were the 737 MAX aircraft. Arrivals and departures for February, there were just over 6,600 arrivals and departures, and 117 were 737 MAX. So it's around about 2%.
But enough.
But enough. Enough that there would be a concern. We have 5 airlines that have the 737 MAX series in their fleet that operate into Jamaica.
Which are those airlines?
Air Canada, American, Sunwing, Southwest, and WestJet.
Okay.
Now, not all of them operate the 737 MAX to Jamaica because they would have different aircraft in their fleet. We have not seen or had any reports of any serious fallout in terms of, disruptions and displacements.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so when people heard, I know people are thinking, how would it affect travelers to and from Jamaica and so on, especially since the winter season is still happening.
Correct.
But you're saying that not much fallout.
Not much. And, initially, yes, there would have been. And so airlines would have had to
make adjustments.
And so. And I know a number of airlines are allowing certain waiving of fees and so for their passengers to either change to another aircraft or change to another day of travel.
Okay. So the ban is now in effect. Is it pretty much worldwide, right?
It's quite widespread. There are still some states that have not done it, and some that have done international, but the aircraft can operate in their own domestic airspace.
Why would that be the case?
Again, they would have done their own assessment.
Because if it takes only 6 minutes for the flight to go down, then domestic flights would be affected as well.
Right.
Yes.
That's incredible to me that people would still be. What is likely to happen now in terms of next steps?
Well, I'm quite sure that Boeing is working assiduously, even more so, to determine, probable causes and to come out with a fix. I mean, for a company to have 350 aircraft on the ground, they have orders for over 5,000 of these aircraft. So I'm sure they're working very, very hard to try and get this, whatever it is, fixed. They will have to go through the process of demonstrating that it has fixed the issue. And I guess public confidence as well.
Yeah, because I see the public is now, because first time you're traveling, you're not looking at the aircraft.
Correct.
You just want to buy your ticket and board.
Correct.
But since this incident, I've seen people saying, there's one gentleman who said when he went to the counter and he realized it was a 737, he asked to be put on another flight, and they wouldn't move him, and he's not boarding that plane.
Yes.
So now I think traveler knowledge about aircraft has just become a little bit... Yeah.
And as well, there are a number of sites that you can go on to see, to track your flight, to see what kind of aircraft. And some of those sites have not been updated. On the weekend, I got calls that there was a 737 MAX that was supposed to be coming into Montego Bay, and the site that they went on had indicated so. But that was not the case. It was a 737-800 series, but the site had not been updated. So I'm just cautioning people as well to, when they look at that,
don't panic.
Don't panic. So.
Well, I'm glad, Nari, that the Civil Aviation Authority in Jamaica isn't waiting on anyone. You've taken the lead as far as protecting our travelers are concerned. And I've said this and this thing here, not coming in. And when you say banned from Jamaica, does that include our airspace or just coming here?
No, yes, our flight information region, which is much larger than our landmass.
Yeah.
So what advice would you have for travelers, potential travelers? You just said you can check information to see what aircraft you are on.
Correct. You can do that. It is a number of the major civil aviation authorities have issued flight restrictions. So it's quite unlikely that you're going to be flying on the MAX. I just want to reassure the public, though, that aviation, air transport is still the safest mode of transportation. I was going to say, what can you say to them? Because people are already afraid. The flight confidence dipped. It does. And every time there's such an incident or an accident, it does have that effect.
Especially two in such a short space of time.
Two in such a short space of time. But at the Civil Aviation Authority, Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority, safety and security is paramount for us. So all our decisions are made based on, those overarching objectives.
All right. Thank you, Nari. Appreciate it. Boy, okay, Director General at the Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority, Nari Williams.
Good morning, Tricia.
I know you was going to that, You're so predictable. Jinx. After the break, Consumer Affairs Commission activities. We'll be right back.